I see a Ben Kinney hoodie already. Hey, everybody. Welcome to what month is this? June. Welcome to our June Pro Plus Partner webinar. My name is Jeremiah Taylor. I'm part of the team here at Ojo, and we've got an amazing panel for you today. So I'm pretty excited about this. I'm going to keep my part of the content pretty short. We'll give people a couple minutes to join. But oh man, James, I love it. You beat me to it. If you just joined, we want to make sure the chat works. Jump in, tell us what part of the world are you joining from? I'm in Tucson, Arizona. We have our first week where it's like over 100 the entire week. I think it's 107 later this week. And I don't know if I'm here for that. I think I'm ready. I'm ready to go back to San Diego. All right, awesome. Lancaster, Austin. Okay, Austin's got to be hot. And hot and Haley. You guys had a bunch of hail, right, Adelina? Yeah, okay. That's been a little crazy. Nashville, Florida, Dallas. By the way, if you're wondering where on earth is Chris Heller, um, he is on vacation this week. Which, if you've known Chris Heller for the 13 years that I have known him, has not been a lot of times I've been able to say those words with his name around him. He is whitewater rafting down the Grand Canyon with only a satellite phone and no access to the internet. It's amazing. It is extreme vacation. It's the best vacation that you could go on. All right, cool. It was 104. I'm gonna get us rolling at 105. Just to give you the run of show again, for those of you just joined, my name is Jeremiah Taylor, part of the team here at Ojo. I am, or Movoto, I should say, sorry, old habits. I'm going to take you all through some of the standard stuff we cover in these webinars, remind you of best practices because we always have some new people on here. Go over some updates. We do have a couple of partner and lead updates that I want to make sure you all are aware of. Make sure you guys have seen the new lead offer screens because they're kind of cool. I think they're easier to use. And then we'll spend like 45 minutes with our panel. So we're going to be in a good spot. And it's 105. I said we go at 105. We are recording. So if for some reason you have to drop off or something changes, drop off. We'll send you the recording. But let's go. Jenna, can you see my screen? Awesome. Thank you. Okay, cool. So as a reminder, this is the 353. The 353, like in my head, mental models are really easy with numbers. How many of you used like the reactions in chat? How many of you know what the 353 is? If you go down there and you do that, oh my gosh, where are the reactions? Oh my gosh, Zoom updated and I don't see reactions. Do you guys see reactions? Hang on, I'm freaking out. Oh, there they are. Okay, I had to stop sharing. How many of you, give me a thumbs up, one of these, if you know what the 353 is? Okay, see, I give a lot of thumbs up. How many of you know? 1, 2, 3, 4. I see Ben's actual thumb being up. Okay, there's a bunch of you that don't know what the 353 is. That means, for those of you that know, I'm sorry, you are going on a 353 road trip with me. Here we go. There are three things that we ask the consumer on the initial call. Number one, do you have a home to sell? Number two, are you in contract with or committed to an agent? And number three, are you looking to buy or looking to rent? If they say they have a home to sell, we just take that information down and we put it in agent tools so you know about it. You should always also ask them that, by the way. They don't immediately always volunteer that for us. The law of large numbers says that 2 out of 3 people that you meet are not first-time home buyers, meaning that they may have a home to sell. So you should ask that question every time. Number 2, are they committed to or in contract with an agent? If they tell us, yeah, I have an agent I'm working with, we will have one time try to objection handle that. And we will say, oh, so you have a signed contract with that agent. If they say yes, we're done, just like you would be done. We do not push anymore. If they say, no, I have not signed a contract, and we'll say, oh, interesting. At Movoto, we have a network of the top 1% of local agents all over the United States. These are the best of the best. They're carefully vetted. These agents, blah, 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 pitch, pitch, pitch. Would you be open to a second opinion and to meeting one of these agents and potentially working with them? If they say yes, we're sending them, we're teeing you up, and they have agreed to at least meet you, and they've told us they're not in an agency relationship, contractual agency relationship with another agent. Number three, are they looking to buy or are they looking to rent? If they say they're looking to rent, we do not send them. We encourage them to contact the listing agent. If they're looking to buy, we send them to you. That's the 3. Here's what happens next, right? So the person fills out a lead form. They come into us. By the way, we are testing some new stuff on Movoto.com. I want you to check this out. You should be on Movoto playing with stuff all the time, by the way, because there's always stuff changing. There are now 4 ways a consumer gets to you. Number one, they click they are selling and they want a cash offer. We've done lots of training on this. It's in the script library. Number 2, they request information about a property. Number 3, they could click get pre-approved. If you're in Arizona, one of our mortgage markets that we're operating mortgage in, they would go to us. We would send them back to you. And then at the bottom, they can request a tour at a specific time and date. That is all going to come over to you. Now, when those introductions come over to you, right, we get the information, we call them, and we introduce them. We try to introduce as many live as we can. Ultimately, it takes 2 to tango. We need you to answer, be quick, pick up the phone, and do all that. Whether we send them live or as a follow-up later, the concierge is always going to be there to help nurture that relationship along, okay? So you will get a text. It'll look like this. You have a live consumer. You tap it, and then you're going to see all this information. Now, if it is one of these where it's like a touring request or something else, you'll see it'll say consumer request, and then it'll say what it is. What I want to make you aware of is we have engaged in a trade relationship with a couple of the other portals. Realtor.com has some consumers in areas where we don't have where we have great coverage, and we have some consumers in areas where they have great coverage. And so we're doing some exchange. So we don't want you to be confused. If you get a lead from us at Movoto and it says it's from Realtor.com, that is not a mistake. That is because Realtor.com sent it to us to use our fulfillment network, and it can come to you. So if you see one of those, you'll know what's up. You'll still get all the property activity and everything else. If it is off of Movoto, just taking a look. Okay, cool. If it's off of Movoto, it may say schedule a tour, then it'll have the tour time, may say request info, message agent, cash offer, whatever. It'll all be in that same spot there. Okay, that check out. Everybody tracking? Rock and roll. 5, there are 5 things that the top agents do on that initial phone call. Number 1, they answer the call with enthusiasm, with a smile, and they use the word local. Hey, my name is Jeremiah Taylor. I'm a local real estate agent here with Movoto. Number 2, they go straight for the appointment. I see you inquired on 123 TBD Street. When tomorrow at 2 o'clock would you like to go see that house? Number 3, they set a hard appointment, meaning not I will call you next week and then we'll go see it sometime during the weekend. No, we will go see it on the 9th at 3 p.m. at 123 Main Street, like a hard appointment, an actual appointment. Number 4, you get the info on the switch properties. Tell me what drew your attention to this house? What did you like about this house? Because what I'd love to do is find 1 or 2 others, especially even one maybe that hasn't hit the MLS yet, that we could take a look at after we look at that other property. And number 5, you always close the call with, here's what's going to happen next. The top agents do that. They say, hey, so here's what's going to happen next. I have to call the seller, confirm that our appointment Friday the 9th at 3 o'clock is going to work for them. I'm going to go look for 1 or 2 other properties that I can show you. Hopefully I'll find one that's not even on the market yet that's been listed by our team. And I look forward to meeting you then. I will call you within the next couple hours to confirm the appointment. Super simple. Always close with here's what's going to happen next. Okay, that's the 5. Now, in that call, there's a call scorecard. We share this with your teams. We share the call recordings with you guys. Please use those. These are super valuable, okay? When you call that customer back, when the 5 is done really well, you are typically not going and looking to see if the property is actually available for that time, et cetera, on the call. I don't care how good you are. If somebody says, I'm interested in 123 Main Street, I say, great, when's a good time to go see it? And they say tomorrow at 2. And I go, oh, just kidding. Sorry, it's sold. Well, tell me what you liked about that property and let me see if I can find you another one. You ain't getting that conversation back on the rails, friends. I am sorry. It just doesn't work that way. Like, I don't care how good you are. You're not getting that back on the rails. Set the appointment. Great. I'm going to go check if it's available. I will call you back. You're just simply giving yourself time to go do your research, come up with some switch properties, and then you can call back once you're fully prepared, okay? So when you call them back, there are 3 things that can happen. Number 1, great news, property's available. Let's go tomorrow, 3 o'clock. I'll see you there. Thank you. Number 2, property not available, but great news. I found this other property. So the call goes like this. Hey, Adelina, it's Jeremiah. We have an appointment tomorrow to see 123 Main Street at 3 o'clock. calling you back. Actually, we're going to start our tour at 345 Main Street. It's a really great 3-bed, 2-bath. Same floor plan, actually just flipped from the one you saw. Our team just listed. It's not even on the MLS yet. I'm really excited to show it to you. Afterwards, we can go take a look at 123 Main Street. Or, it turns out 123 Main Street already has an offer that they've been working through, and I think you'll like this other one better anyway. So we'll see you there. That's the switch property. Third potential outcome, if you can't find them another property to switch to, is we're going to try to set a buyer consult. I like to use my good news, bad news script, which is, hey, Akash, Jeremiah, we have an appointment to go see the property tomorrow at 3 o'clock, and I'm calling you. I've got good news and bad news. Bad news first. The property that you wanted to see, it's no longer available. It's sold. It actually had 46 offers, sold for 200,000 over ask price, whatever's going on. And that's really common, Akash, because you see the best properties sell fast, and they often have a lot of competition like that. Here's the good news. Now that you've met me, this is the last time this is going to happen. I've been selling homes here in Arizona for 23 years. We've sold over 2,500 homes. I have over 19,000 people in my database that I can go to. What I need to do is I need to sit down with you and understand what you're looking for so that I can go to work and find you that property before it hits the MLS, before it hits the portals, before it has all the competition, so that I can give you an opportunity to decide if you want to make that your house before it turns into a frenzy. So let's do this. I found a Starbucks, a block from where we're going to already meet tomorrow at 3 o'clock. Let's keep the appointment. I'll buy you a cup of coffee. You help me understand what you're looking for, and I'm going to go make it happen and find that property before it comes on the market for you. That sound good? That's it. Super simple. That's my good news, bad news. It is recorded. It's in the script library. One of you has a better script than that, I promise you. But make it your own, play with it, practice it. That's the 353. We keep talking about this because I keep listening to calls and hearing agents getting on the call going, yeah, so how can I help? And the consumer's like, what do you mean, how can you help? I just filled out a lead form to go see a house. Did you not get it? And the agent's like, well, I don't know. You called me. And the consumer's like, no. They called me and then they brought you on the phone. And then like the agent will argue with them. And I'm like, okay, none of this was in the 353, guys. We're going to keep talking about the 353. So I'm having a little bit of fun. Hopefully you'll get it. Hopefully this is valuable. 2 more minutes of content, and then I'm flipping to Adelina and Akash. So drum roll, May top performing teams. Mike Quayle continues to lead the way with almost a 10% conversion rate. Choose Charlie at 6.9, almost 7%. The opt team at 6.1, Misty Soldwich 5.6, and MK and Associates at 5% in contract. Congratulations to these teams. I love seeing the same people at the top of the leaderboard every month. That is not a coincidence. It's because they're doing the same things consistently. Jenna just threw up the party emojis, and I think that's great because this is an exciting time. Now, the thing to keep in mind, these leads have not fully baked. The average time from introduction to close is 183 days. A lot of these teams have dozens of introductions they've just gotten in the last few weeks that are counted in these conversion rates. Over time, the top teams in our network will convert leads at 12 to 15%, gang. But the key is you got to get the live transfers, you got to get them and meet them in person, and then the conversions are going to happen. Okay. There's some cool training resources. One of the things I'm noticing in a lot of the calls I'm listening to with the NAR settlement, there's a lot more consumers that are more aware than they've ever been. In the last 6 weeks, I've heard more people say, well, so what do you do different? Why would I work with you as an agent versus somebody else? I know a lot of agents. Why did Movoto connect you with me? Okay. This is an example script. I'll give you a bonus script. If somebody says, well, why are you different? Why did Movoto connect you with me? What are you going to do different than other agents? Just blame us. Say, well, Movoto actually has an artificial intelligence powered algorithm that selects the best possible fit for the agent based on what you're looking for. And it analyzed all the data and it decided that was me. Pretty simple. You probably won't get a lot of questions beyond that. You get like, oh, okay, cool. So how long have you been doing this? So use us. Here's an example. If you don't know what this is, work on it. Send an email to support. We'll be happy to help you. Talk to your team leader. Talk to your broker. Talk to a coach. Tom Perry was on last week. He had some great ideas on this. All right. The script library. Make sure you get in there. Check it out. If there's anything you're stumped on. This is our challenge for you. I'm going to go back here. See the guy at the top of the leaderboard? We asked him, we said, hey, what's one thing that you think consistently keeps you at the top of the leaderboard? And he said, well, I do this. Can you guys hear him? No? Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Hold on.
By here
Hold
in the
on.
North Shore.
Okay, so this is
Hey,
Mike.
Paula, it's Mike Quayle from eXp Realty. I'm just here at home. Just want to shoot a quick video introduction so you can put a face with the name. Yeah, I've been helping buyers and sellers buy here in the North Shore, PBD, and all the towns around here for almost 20 years. So I've helped over 850 families get from point A to point B. So happy to chat with you, find out if you are just sort of curious about real estate or if you are looking to make a move in the near future. So yeah, just getting back to you, I saw that you came through the website and we're looking to touch base with a expert local agent. So that's me. So give me a call or shoot me a text. Just let me know if you're just curious or if you're looking to make a move, and we can just take it from there. Thanks.
Okay. That was his answer of what makes him different. What does he think is helping? This is not like high production value. He is taking this little device, iPhone, which I have, and he's recording a video and he's talking to it and then he's sending it via SMS to the consumer. That's it. It's raw, it's unedited, it's not high production value, it's very real. Now, the thing that I will tell you that he does really well, that we are starting to test and seeing some really good signs that it's working, is adding specific things that the customer asks for. So if they tried to schedule a tour at 123 Main Street, or they inquired on 456 Main Street that's in the blah 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 neighborhood, right? Incorporate those things into that quick video. Hey, I saw that you inquired on the house at 123 blah 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 street. I love that neighborhood. That's right next door to my favorite Mexican restaurant, blah blah blah. In fact, I just sold a home 3 months ago, 2 doors down from that one. I'm so excited to help you with that. I know that neighborhood really well, right? Like, make it real, make it authentic. That video connection, I love it because it doesn't cost you anything and it's everybody can do it. So that is the end of my prepared content. And I'm going to flip to what you're actually here for, which is our panel. And, well, hang on. I just started playing Mike's video again in my ear. Sorry about that. Give me just a second. Thank you, Jenna. All right, so we have 2 panelists today. There they are. Okay, cool. Jenna's got him pinned. I'm going to do some quick intros, and I'm going to mess this up, just fair warning. So Adelina Rotar. Adelina and Akash are both in Austin, Texas. Adelina leads the Ben Kinney team in Austin. You guys have sold something like 3,000 homes since 2016. You guys are among the top 10 teams in Austin across all brokerages. And Adelina, you've been in real estate since I think 2003, so you're 20 years in. And you continue to deliver a high level of service in the industry. You help your agents on your team sell 4 times more homes than the average agent. And you guys are the #1 choice in Austin for not just like Austin, but also like all the Texas Hill Country surrounding Austin. So that's amazing. Thank you for being here. Akash. Now, Akash started in real estate in the middle of the pandemic. So if my math is good, that means you've been in the business for less than 5 years. He's got a huge clientele. He's a numbers guy. So he loves working with investors. He does really well with luxury clients. Anyone that wants like high level expertise is his specialty. He is averaging 36 sales in a year since he started. He's been in the business less than 5 years. And he really attributes it to his level of detail, his local expertise, and his ability to negotiate and just deliver for his clients. Client reviews recommend him if you want the best in your corner. By the way, the average agent, Austin is one of the most competitive real estate markets in the country. The average agent in Austin sells 4, like this many fingers, 4 homes a year. He's selling 9 times more than the average agent in Austin. So it's amazing. So what I'm going to do is kind of like slide to the side, and I'm going to let Adelina and Akash take over and share with you what they're doing that is helping their team be so productive. So thank you. I'm going to be quiet.
You're awesome, Jeremiah. Thanks for the opportunity, and we would like to be in your like top 5 list. We're working on that. We haven't been with you guys as long as a lot of other teams, so we're really excited to be here. And thank you so much for the partnership. I think probably let's start with maybe kind of the building block to our success because we don't just have one agent that's selling that many homes. We have many agents on that track. Akash just gets to be the face of this because I think he's like closed like 6 or something Movoto since we've been with you guys. So I just thought he'd be a great example. So maybe if we started with the building block of our success, which is going to be the most boring thing, and I apologize for it, but if you're not doing it, this is like your roadblock. And if you don't do it in the future, you might as well just do a U-turn because you just are going to keep going back in the same cul-de-sac that you've been in. And so, Akash, do you want to talk a little bit about like our favorite topic in the world, which is time blocking? Do you want to jump in on what it looks like from an agent level? And then I will jump into what it looks like from like a business level.
Yes, absolutely. So, I mean, business blocking and time blocking is very important. For me, my time blocks are very much so solidified Monday through Thursday, 9 to 12 p.m. I'm very much so only building my business and moving my business forward. So the reason I do that, of course, is so that I'm able to keep adding people and maintaining the people there so that I'm not going to keep going through the ups and downs. Because I've done it multiple times in my career already where I just finished closing 3 to 4 clients. I turn around and I look, I'm like, where's everything else right now? So it's very much so I've learned a few times and I'm not going to learn again because I've learned it now enough times that 9 to 12 has to be protected. And I try not to really like when I get my clients and they are reaching out to me through 9 to 12, I'm very clear with them from the beginning when they sign with me. Hey, I do have a lot of stuff that I'm doing between Monday through Thursday, 9 to 12. I'm doing a lot of things with my team. So just text me and you will hear from me the latest 12:05 or 12:10 p.m. I think it's been less than 5 times that I've actually had to call them before 12 p.m. when they've texted me about something. A lot of people have kind of a misconception that once you're under contract, everything is on fire. It's not. Like it very much so it can wait until 12 p.m. Central. I promise you that. You can protect that 9 to 12 p.m. slot by simply just saying, hey, just text me and I will fully, like, if you see it as an emergency, of course, respond. But if not, they're almost good till 12.
Have you ever has anybody ever gotten mad at you for like saying that you're not available immediately?
No, I mean, most of my clients understand they work 9 to 5 jobs. So they're fully understanding that, you know, you're 9 and I'm only asking for 3 hours really, that I'm not available 4 days a week. And that's 9 to 12 p.m. I'm available anytime outside of that.
Do you ever get bored with having to do the same thing? Like that sounds like people aren't really excited about that.
Yes, absolutely. I get bored. So there's things that I try to do to be less bored, and that's, you know, I'm searching for properties at the same time as I'm on the dialer. So, you know, 2 screens are important to me. You know, some people might not be able to handle that, but it's a good way to just keep looking for properties for buyers or doing other stuff while you are dialing. Another fun thing that I do, and it's way more fun for me, is I build Legos when I'm calling people. Like I will fully have my dialer going and I have my Legos here on my side, and it's what I'm doing is mundane, and then I have a fun activity right next to me, and that's where I'm able to get through the dials.
Okay, got it. Do you ever think that you're gonna like outgrow this or graduate from you know, like having like a time block to build your business? Like what do you foresee?
I mean, I honestly hope that I don't, because I've learned already a few times that this is very crucial to maintaining a big business. And for me, I want to continue developing a bigger and bigger business. So I really just cannot see this slipping out of my routine.
So I'm going to jump in with a question. So Akash, when you say from 9 to 12, I'm building my business, I heard you say that you're on the dialer. Like double click on that and pretend for a minute that an agent maybe doesn't know like what building my business means and who you're calling and what you'd be doing.
Yeah.
Tell us a little more.
Yeah, so for me, it's 2 things. It's adding people to my database, but you can never forget about maintaining the people in your database, because that's a big part that I think, of course, gets slipped. Is a lot of people are focusing on adding, but that's only half the game. The other half is to ensure that you're maintaining what you do put in there. So for me, the CRM that I run has a lot of tasks that I will log in every morning. I have about 40 tasks of people that I need to call to maintain. And that's just the minimum that I do, because I'll hop on another dialer to get more people to add to my database. So on a daily basis, it's anywhere from, 60 to 100 dials, which doesn't sound that crazy, honestly, when you say it out loud.
Love it. I love it.
I love it. Where I'll kind of like interject with this whole like concept around just the thing we don't really want to talk about, but it is the business block, is like time blocking, right? We often think of like lead generation and lead follow-up as just like bad words because they sound like a job, and none of us got into real estate because we wanted a job. We probably left a job, right? We got in because we wanted to make money and we wanted flexibility. We didn't want to be told what to do or how to do it. And so we have this negative reaction to just time blocking, right? But if you think of it this way, you almost have to like trick your mind into like thinking of it the right way, right? Like, do you need sleep? Absolutely, you need sleep. You need 7 to 8 hours a night to be healthy. It's not my opinion, it's just science, right? So we time block for sleep. Now, some of you go to sleep at 2 a.m. and some of you go to sleep at 10 p.m. and whatever is your situation, right? But there is a time block for sleep because you need it to be healthy. Now, if you don't sleep, right, you're going to be unhealthy, right? Sleep deprivation leads to being tired, right? But long-term sleep deprivation leads to like increased anxiety and like some paranoia and some crazy things like even death, if you literally stop sleeping. So time blocking for sleep is important, right? We time block to eat, right? And then like when it gets to our business, we're like, time blocking. That's what weird people do. That's what like the people we don't want to be like kind of do, right? But think of time blocking in three different ways, right? Our director of operation just kind of drills this into our culture. Business building, business development, and business conversion. Those are your three time blocks. Business building, this is where you generate new leads for your business, right? It can be prospecting, it can be open houses, it can be networking, it could be maybe you have a Team Pond account, maybe there's like social media that you're doing, anything that like truly adds business to your business, new people. Business development on the other side is you're developing the people that you've already put into your database, right? This is where you follow up with the Movoto leads so they don't die on the vine, right? Everyone else that's already in your database, and you develop them in the sales cycle. Then you've got business conversion. This is where you're meeting with clients. Maybe those are listing appointments. Maybe it is that showing for Movoto that you got earlier that day. Maybe it's a buyer consult. What your goal there is to convert them to a contract, right? Someone who wants to work with you. That's usually done in the afternoons after 1 o'clock, right? And so you're spending time either going on appointments or preparing for appointments after 1 o'clock. Everything else is everything else. And so if you're working 8 hours a day, right? Like, because you would give that to any employer, give it to yourself as the employee of your business, right? Then how are you going to have your like 3 different time blocks built out, right? Maybe you're newer and maybe your business building, like that lead generation needs to be more. Maybe you've been in it for a long and you really just need more follow-up time. Or maybe you've been in it a really long time and you're seasoned and it's your business conversion. Everybody's got a time block. The ones who do, that's how you have the predictable business. Everyone can have business. It's just a matter of, is it predictable? Is it consistent? Do you have money every month to pay your bills? Are you getting ahead? Does that make sense?
Yeah. And I think I like how you chunk it. And so if I'm thinking about my 8 hours, I got business building, which in my head is like, okay, cool. I'm generating new leads, growing my database. Business development, lead follow-up, nurturing. That's probably where the money's made. Business conversion, this is like going out and doing it, like signing contracts, getting face-to-face. Like, seems to me like 1 and 2 are the things that you have to make sure really anchor in the schedule. So like, is that where your 3 hours is spent, is business building and business development, Akash?
Yes, absolutely. So that's kind of the minimum for me. And for me, I'm at a part now where it is a lot more business development, because I have added a very good amount into my database. So I do have to spend less time to add people in and more time
Yeah.
in.
Yeah, and I think that that's pretty typical, right? When an agent gets started, it's like a lot of lead generation, meeting new people, building the database, building the pipeline. And then the longer you've been doing this and the more consistent you've been, it probably flips and it goes to like 90-10 the other way, where it's like mostly you're following up with leads, and then that's like causing you to kind of meet new people too. I am curious, over the last 3 years, we've seen the total number of transactions, and y'all are in Austin, which Austin has been hit harder than just about any other market in the country in terms of like there's more agents than there's ever been and there's fewer transactions. Have you had to change the amount of effort you've put in to get the same results?
Yes.
It's a loaded question.
I mean, for myself, absolutely. I think that it has been something where I'm having a lot more rejections now and a lot more conversations that are pretty negative. But it's just, for me, I've always believed in a funnel system where as much as if you dump in as much at the top, something quality is going to come out at the bottom. So for me, it was about 50% more activity. I know that what was recommended was 30%, and a lot of people said you're going to lose about 30% of business last year. And that's something that I tracked for. So I was like, let me try to do 50% more activity. And luckily, my business was not affected as much when we went through that slowdown.
Yeah, and look, there's a lot of people that are in W-2 jobs right now that are being asked to do 100% more. Their coworkers are no longer working there. There's staff size reductions. They didn't get a big pay increase, and they're getting asked to do more. So this is not a crazy concept. The difference is that you work for yourself and you get to realize 100% of the upside from putting in more effort when you're a self-employed business owner, agent on a team leader, whatever it is, right? And I think that's kind of the magic of our industry. And so I think a lot of agents, they get really disenchanted when they're like, well, shucks, I got to work twice as hard to make the same money. Well, such is life.
Like, I think the neat thing, especially, if you are newer in the industry and you weren't around for the last crash, and it is like, that felt horrible. I mean, this, your business going down 30% also feels horrible. But people are still going to buy and sell, right? No matter what. If Akash's goal is 36 or 42, it's 42. There's 42 people in Austin who will buy and sell. So it takes what it takes. And if you have the mindset of it takes what it takes, then you're not going to give yourself the pity party of it takes more than I used to have to do. Like, I'm working so much harder now than I was 5 years ago, 10 years ago. And yet, like, it takes what it takes. Like, I'm not going backwards. Like, that's not an option. Cool.
Yeah, I love it. I love it.
What do you want to jump in?
Yeah, I mean, look, August 17th is 2.5 months away. How are you guys thinking about working with clients post NAR settlement?
Oh, Akash, take that one.
Yes. So, I mean, for me, it's been a few years since I've already been educating my clients that they are responsible for my commission, but in our area, sellers are choosing to offer a marketing fee for a buyer's agent to help procure a buyer for their property. So that's the way I'm continuously saying that to all of my buyers, is that technically you are responsible for my commission, but I will do my best to negotiate it from the seller. And in our area right now, a lot of the sellers are offering a buyer's agent commission as a marketing technique to help sell their property. And that's kind of where, as long as it's set up that way, is just getting the buyer's rep sign is what I've changed more than anything now. I used to be the type of guy that would wait for the offer to go out to sign the rep agreement, and I'm sure there's many people here that do that as well. So I have stopped doing that entirely. I am more a person now that it's by the second showing, we are having a full consultation and having a full buyer's rep conversation. And it's the presentation is where I'm showing my value. That's kind of the big part, is I sit down, I do an actual consultation with them, walk them through the full steps of what they're about to expect in this transaction. And I've actually learned pretty easily that I don't know why I waited this long, because most people, it's an easy yes after the first or the second showing with me. It's just I was afraid to ask that question from the beginning. It's just for me now, I'm showing my value up front, letting people know about team experiences. So I always let them know that finding the property is very much so the smallest part of it. And a lot of people will come with the objection of, I have many realtors sending me properties. I want to go with the realtor that sends me that property. So the thing I will always say to them is, okay, why don't we sign a 30-day agreement right now? Let me get my shop 30 days to show you what I can do. And then if we're not working out for 30 days, you can go work with any of the other realtors that you'd like. And a lot of people tend to not say no to a 30-day trial period because I'm asking for a shot. And I say, I want to win your business just like any of the other agents should want to win your business. This is a conversation that we will need to have. And it happens on the first, basically when I do my first showing with them, we'll have a lot of conversation about the local market. My value that I drive to them is way more, here are the market stats. I know right now that Austin is closing 97% list to close. Last year, we were at like 92% list to close. So what does that mean for us? In a 1-year difference, we are seeing more movement in our market. So that's something that you should know, and every agent should be telling you this, because that's our value that we are bringing to you. I'm also throwing in experiences for my clients in certain areas. If I have a same buyer, I'm like, hey, I actually just got one of my buyers a $15,000 credit in the neighborhood right next door. So I know the inventory over there. I've actually been there a lot. So we can go and try to find you a property. And I'll ask them off the get-go, what's most important to you? A perfect property or a good deal? We can try to find a mix of the two. But if you're wanting a perfect property, you have to let go of that good deal sometimes. So having these conversations, providing market stats and showing your value, it's stuff that those agents that are just sending listing alerts over to them are not doing in any way, shape, or form. So it's no wonder, like I'm definitely winning them over by the second showing. And after the buyer's consultation, no one is really saying no to signing the buyer's rep with me anymore.
All right, so there's a lot to unpack in what you just saw there. The number one thing that is making Akash a winner is Akash's mindset. When, I've talked to a lot of agents, and you see them on social media, you talk to agents everywhere, and they're like, well, I mean, how am I going to get paid? Like, I mean, how am I supposed to go show a house if I don't know how I'm going to get paid? And they're just like totally locked up. And the difference with Akash is he's like, well, no, you're hiring me. I'm going to work for you. At the end of the day, you're responsible, and it's up to me to negotiate my payment. And to the extent I'm able to negotiate with the seller, I will. And if I'm not, then you and I'll have a conversation and you'll pay me. That is spoken like somebody that is quite clear on the value that they're bringing to the transaction. And now my guess is, Akash, you didn't just wake up one day feeling that way. Like it took some process. It probably took some leadership conversations with Adelina. And it took real work for you to get to that headspace where you can just feel confident in saying that. And it's not a script. It's a way of being for you. Is that right?
Yes, absolutely. It's there's a lot of confidence in when I'm talking now to my buyers, and it does come from just past experiences and times I've even been burned where it's not worth it in the long run. It's just easier to have this conversation now.
Yeah. Yeah. The thing, go ahead, Adelina.
Yeah. So here's what I'll interject and how it plays in with the previous thing we were talking about, right? If the only time you're doing real estate, like real estate, is when you're meeting with a client, like you haven't gotten a lot of practice in. So it feels real stressful to say these kind of words. You have to remember, like Akash is like at the office. Like actually he's at the office earlier than me. I think he's like there at like 7:30, like weird things. Like I don't recommend that necessarily. But he's there like when we start in the morning and we do our scripts and dialogues from 8:30 to 8:50, he's like there. And from 9 to 12, he's like talking to clients and talking to new leads and calling expireds and calling people like that he met over the weekend at open house, right? And so by the time he gets to that appointment or that phone call that like he's like, I don't want to pay you anything, right? Like he's like prepped. This wasn't the first conversation he had all day. Like this is his entire life. It's a career versus like an appointment. Does that make sense, Jeremiah?
100%. And I think that's like what you're playing back to me is the way that life works. If you look at somebody that is the best at what they do, irrespective of what they do, they never believe they're too good for practice. Like how many, I mean, I can't think of one. Can you think of any professional athlete that was like, yeah, practice isn't for me. I got this. Like that's just not how it works for the best of the best in the industry. And it's those people that are constantly seeking to improve that acknowledge that like if it's to be, it's up to me and I got to put in the work, that's what gets them to the highest level. And frankly, it's kind of like the curse of mediocrity to think that you're good enough to not need to practice. So I love it. I love that you're kicking butt, like top 1% or whatever it is of agents in Austin, and you're still showing up to script practice and doing it. There is no coincidence there.
No, I would say that even with scripting with the newer agents, I learn stuff from them weekly because it's something that I may say differently that I need to hear out loud. So it really is something that if you're not scripting, even with people who are joining right now, like you have room to grow because you learn every single week.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, Adelina, you've been doing this for 20 years. Akash has been doing this. When did you get your license, Akash? 4 years now?
Yeah, almost 4 years.
Okay, so 3 years and some change. He didn't wake up and just like, oh, this is, I should time block and like these are all the right things to do. So that we should give some credit. There's some leadership in here, some coaching. And I know from looking at your team that you have more than one person producing at a level like Akash on the team. So what are the things as a team leader that you think you've done? Now, I don't want anybody to hear that like I'm shorting Akash's ability to do the work. Dude, you're doing the work. And it doesn't happen without you doing the work. What I'm looking for is as team leaders on the call, Adelina, what could people glean from like the things you are doing that's creating an environment for people like Akash to kind of step into who they are?
Yeah, I mean, it comes down to Ben and I always talk about our 5 fiduciary duties to our people, right? Number one, we set really clear expectations, right? What it looks like to win on our team, what it looks like to be partnered with us, what winning in your role looks like. Number two, we inspect what we expect. And some of that is daily, some of it's weekly, some of it's monthly. Number three, we really want to be good partners. So we provide like the training, the coaching, whatever is needed for people to be able to do what we said our expectations were and what they said their goals were going to be. Number four, we just set and recast the vision all the time, right? People don't need to learn new things as much as they need to be reminded of the things. And so some of like recasting the vision it's got to be relatable. Like being number one in Austin is not relatable, not even to Akash, not to any of our people on our teams and part of our groups, but what is relatable is like, hey, I want you to fund your retirement. I want you to buy your first house. I want you to buy your first investment house. I want you to be able to start a family. I want you to simply have a paycheck every single month for the rest of your life. And that sounds really stupid, but in real estate in Austin, people have a paycheck every 3 months. And then the last part is just create a culture, where you have a productivity culture and you're protecting that reputation. And I don't know, like you're just doing those 5 things over and over and over and over again.
I love that. And so as the leader of the team, do you have your own time blocks that are like your business building, your business development, your business conversion? Are you doing regular one-on-ones with the team? Like what's your time block structure look like?
Yeah, I have so Akash and I and our top agents, we do one-on-ones with Akash. I do it every month. Some people like to do it twice a month. Our director of operation does it every week with our people who are out of launch. From 9 to 12, everybody's got a time block. For agents, it looks one way. For staff, it looks a different way. For me, it's going to look a different way, right? Whatever my big projects are, those are getting moved forward from 9 to 12. Otherwise, they don't get moved forward. And then from 1 to like 5 or whatever time you want to call it, like, especially with this whole thing going on with NAR, like I'm personally making myself so much more available to supervise my agents' dealings over the coming months. I have been for the last 6 months and will continue to do it for the next 6 months. Just really being on top of everything that's happening in our business right now, offering like real time feedback in all of our business dealings, just reviewing contracts, being on top of like carelessness that we would have like let go in the past. Now it's just like not going to be okay. We've got to up our professionalism level, and it starts with me.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. There's a question from Ben. How many meetings do you allow between 9 and 12?
Like meetings, like what kind of meetings?
Ben, can you clarify, is that
Like,
for?
like if it's a team meeting or a training?
Oh, okay. Yeah. We have one Monday, 8:30 to like 10. That's it.
Yeah, because sometimes you get meetings like other meetings, but
Yeah.
everything, all client meetings after 1, right? Or after.
Yeah. Like
Well,
unless someone's coming from out of town,
Go ahead,
and they
Noah.
need to be able to see that day at that time. If it's an inspection, like that's your fault that you set it up for 11 o'clock or whatever, right? Like,
Yeah.
you let it go once, but like that shouldn't be the culture, right? If
Yeah.
somebody invites me to a meeting before 12, like it's not going to work.
Yeah. Well, and I think Ben, what you may be scratching at is like the fifth value that Annalena really talked about in their fiduciary duties, which is creating a productivity focused culture, which if you have a productivity focused culture, then you honor that 9 to 12 lead generation time block, and you don't schedule team staff meetings and agent all hands and things like that in the time block. And you let your broker know that it's important not to schedule those then either. And you tell them to schedule them in the afternoon. And that's just being, it's like the magic of knowing your values is that it gives you a thing to decide to be congruent to. And so like, I've interviewed so many agents over the years, and it's so easy to see like who the top performers are and they aren't, because when you ask a question like what makes you different or how do you do things, they always have this playbook. They're like, well, hey, we have 5 fiduciary duties, and you heard Elliot just like click them off, right? You ask a coach what makes them successful. He's like, oh, it's because I do this thing from 9 to 12, and this is what I'm focused on. This is what I'm doing. Now, here's where I want you to be transparent. Do you all ever have times where it's like not exactly those 5 things or not exactly 9 to 12? Like you're human, right? Sometimes things happen.
Yeah, it's kind of like when like a rocket's going to the moon, right? Like it's not going in a straight line, right? Like it constantly has to be like redirected.
That's right.
I redirect myself. Akash redirects himself. If Akash didn't redirect himself, I would redirect him. Right? Because he's like we're in a partnership together. Like we want to make this work. And it's not just fun and games. It is fun, but like it's also like our livelihood.
That's right. That's right. And so here's what I want everybody that just heard this to hear. Having a plan does not mean that it is a perfect plan. It means that you have a plan. It is the pinpoint on your GPS where you intend to head. You will get off course. Every team on every stage that talks about how great they are, they all at one point or another often are off course. The difference between the top teams and everybody else is that they have a North Star, they have a plan, they have a destination, they clearly communicate it on a regular basis. And when they get off course, they have a thing to course correct back towards. So I think that's a really important point. I think a lot of people get intimidated when they hear things like your 5 things, because they're like, geez, that sounds like a lot. I don't know if I could do that. And it's like, well, guess what? Adelina doesn't do it every day either, but that's who she aspires to be. That's the way they aspire to run their team. And they have a North Star to move towards. All right, I'm going to shift us gears because we're down to 9 minutes. Let's talk about converting Movoto Pro Plus leads. Akash, you're crushing it. Adeline, I know you have other agents on the team that are doing well, and you guys are after Mike Quayle. I texted him. I said, like, dude, you better look out. Like thoughts, like best practices. Where's your head at? Like, we'll just freestyle it.
Yeah, so I mean, I can just kind of go from, once the appointment is set, because we definitely went through how to set the appointment and follow up with it. So for me, like the day of, to keep them excited, I'll usually send them a message or an email just being like, hey, here's the seller's disclosure and here's the survey. You know, I'm excited to meet you at this property at this time. We're going to go over these documents and the process when we go there. And that way they'll respond to you saying thank you, or like they'll ask questions about it. I'm like, we will talk about all of this when we get there, and we'll go through this together, basically. I have been ghosted, of course, so if they don't show up, it's something that I'm always hammering them 2 to 3 times a day, texting and calling. And my script is just way more, hey, I just want to make sure that you're okay. It's really rare for clients to cancel on me, so I just want to make sure that you are doing okay and that everything is okay. And usually it's a, hey, I'm so sorry this happened. Can we re-meet at this time? It's very rare that they still would choose to ghost me, because I'm more just looking out, because I am just looking out for their well-being. It's very abnormal for someone to schedule something with you to just not show up. So you should at least follow up to make sure they're okay. But for me, I know face-to-face conversions is the highest conversion rate. So when I meet them face-to-face, that is when my A++ game is on, and it's 110%. So I will always reach out to the listing agent. I'm always finding out, hey, are there any offers in hand? What's your wiggle room of your sellers right now? I see you're 45 days on market with no price reductions. So those are massive inside information that you can walk into that appointment with and just drop little pieces of value to be like, hey, I know these things about this listing right now that you wouldn't know otherwise, honestly. And then I always let them know too, hey, I'm a heavy listing agent. My team is also a heavy listing agent as well. So we're able to see exactly how we're getting successes for buyers, because we're seeing it on both sides every single week. And we are closing deals weekly as a team. So we're able to see what types of credits are given. So we're able to negotiate correctly with you as well. And for one big difference for me is first-time home buyers and people who have bought a few properties, basically. So the script is just a little bit different, ironically, for the two of them. For first-time home buyers, I'm just like, hey, you need me at your corner, because this is going to be a very complex situation and a delicate transaction. And right now for you, there are a lot of incentives and ways that we can save you tens of thousands of dollars towards your closing costs, because we know how to negotiate that correctly. From what we've seen in our experience, if a first-time home buyer does not have the correct agent, you are leaving tens of thousands of dollars on the table, essentially. For my people who are more experienced, who have done more transactions, the only thing that I'm really changing is that I'm just saying, hey, we're doing multiple transactions a year and we know what's successful right now. This is the way that we are seeing successes. And if you don't have someone in your corner who is constantly seeing successes and deliver successes, you're going to leave tens of thousands of dollars on the table as well. So it's just kind of a little shift of, you need more attention and more care for first-time home buyers, because they do. My more experienced buyers may not need that, but they need me there to negotiate tens of thousands of dollars and to be there in their corner for it, basically. So once we get there, all of that value is given in, and I'll try to set up the next appointment. Just be like, okay, guys, so I'm free here tomorrow evening as well. Let's meet here at 5 p.m. at this property. And what we're going to go through next is just going to be what I do for you in the entire transaction process. And I will set the buyer's appointment right there for the next time to do my consultation. After the consultation, getting the agreement signed.
I love that. I love that. And so if somebody, I'm trying to think of exactly how you said it, and I'm gonna butcher it, but I think I caught what you were getting at. So if somebody's bought a house before, in their mind, they're experienced. What you alluded to was like, you may have done this, but I've done this multiple times recently, and things may have changed, and that's why you need me in your corner. Can you say that however you said that one more time? It was really good.
Yes, absolutely. So the way I put it for them is, hey, our team, or myself as well, we deliver successes on a weekly basis. We deliver, or we get contracts on a weekly basis. So we're able to make sure that you are getting the most out of this as you can, because if not, you are leaving tens of thousands of dollars on the table, because you will have someone who does not know, who's doing possibly 4 transactions a year. So they've only seen this 4 times in the past year. They don't know what's going on right now. But us and our team, we're seeing it weekly. So we know exactly what's going on so that we can negotiate the correct amount for you.
Yeah, I love that. I love
And
that.
the key thing, especially, those of you who are on a team, like, you got to use the power of the team, right? Like if the average agent sells 4 homes a year in Austin, we sell a home every single day in Austin, right? And I know, Jeremiah, you bought a house like 12 years ago or 3 years ago, and congratulations, that's awesome. We have sold 1,500 homes since you last sold 3 years ago. I'd love to like advocate for you. I'd love to make sure that you get the best possible deal. I want to talk to the team leads real quick, if that's okay. Like who are on the call, right? Because so much of like success with Movoto or any partner platform, it comes down to the leader, right? And the mindset that I have around Movoto is I want any business partnership to work, right? I like example, I didn't marry my husband and be like, honey, I hope this works out. Let's give it a few months and see what happens. No, like I was like, you're gonna be my partner for life. I love you. Now I know it's drastic, like, you know, I don't know if we're gonna be married for life, Movoto, hopefully. But like the way you treat something often determines the outcome that you're going to have, right? And so like don't miss the calls with your Movoto rep, right? We started off with like 70% like intro rate, and we were kind of like honestly pretty sucky, and like we got on our cadence with our rep Carmen twice a month. We review that data and we don't let it slip. Like it's just the way you treat something is the results you're going to have out of it. That's all
I love that. Look, I've met with 70 in the last 2 months Pro Plus teams. Within the first 5 minutes of the call, I don't even need to look at the numbers to know what's going on. And Adelina, what you just said is speed of the leader, speed of the pack. And it's really interesting because I'll show up to a call, the agents are like, yeah, leads are bad. They don't convert. Team leaders nowhere to be found on the call. They haven't delegated managing their team. They have abdicated managing their team to somebody else, and they're just not present. And so then I talk to the team and I'm like, well, what other lead sources do they use? They're like, well, we mostly work our Sphere because we're on Zillow Flex, but we got disengaged off that because we weren't converting. And I'm like, shocker. So it's like, it really comes down to the speed of the leader, guys. If y'all are paying for Pro Plus, whether you're paying 500 or 50,000 a month, you got to be in those Yeti dashboards. You got to be watching the numbers. You got to be holding your team accountable for the money you're spending. And it starts with the team leader. We have a minute left. Parting thought from each of you?
I'll just say quickly, we're about to enter a phase where showing your value is more important than ever. So the best agents are of course going to succeed, but I believe the main reason why they are going to succeed is because they're showing their value up front, and it can be as simple as just having a consultation. So many agents don't sit down with their clients and just talk to them about what they can expect and what you're bringing for them. Stop just showing houses and do the consultation once and just see how much your game changes.
I love that. I'm going to say my belief is following up with leads is a privilege. And I know that sounds so weird and kind of awful to say, but what I mean is if real estate was truly as easy as someone just calling in, setting up that appointment, you just show up to the appointment, they buy the first house that they see, like we wouldn't make thousands of dollars. Like we would make $20 to $25 an hour because we'd be an info taker at that point. And so it's a privilege for us to be able to follow up and develop a lead from a contact to an appointment, to a contract, to a pending, right? Like we get paid thousands of dollars because we're able to move somebody through this cycle. So like embrace that, because like that's where the magic is.
I love that. That's amazing. And it is a privilege to be able to help people find a place to live their life and build their memories. So totally agree. Hey, for those of you that are still here, click your reactions and like, if you liked it, give them a thumbs up, give the team a heart, give them some balloons, give them something. There you go. Look at all that. So much love. I love it. All right. Adelina, Akash, thank you. You all are crushing it. I miss Austin. Left Austin last year. I don't miss it that much because of the hail. So really appreciate what you guys are doing. You all are absolutely kicking butt. You are role models of what success looks like for, you know, a team lead and an agent on a team. Thank you for spending your time doing this with us today. For the rest of you on the webinar, thank you so much. We really appreciate you. We wouldn't be able to do this. You guys sell houses, not us. We just make introductions. So thank you, thank you, thank you. By the way, if you missed it, there is a merch giveaway in the Facebook group this month. To enter it, post your client intro video that you take. And so give Mike Quayle a run for his money. I have a feeling I saw Akash's eyes light up when he saw that video. He's like, oh, I know what I'm doing now. So it's awesome. Thanks again, everybody. Have a rock and roll week, and we will see you in July. Thank you.